So with me in studio today to shed some light on how tech and gambling are influencing the big games coming up this season is Brian Armstrong, sports extraordinaire and gambling aficionado?
I think gambling aficionado works, at least gambling degenerate. We can go with that.
We'll go with that. But just remember, both our wives are watching the show, so don't get us in trouble.
Always, always.
Tech-byte, sponsored by Epico's Comics, Cards, and Games.
So Brian, tell me, how is tech, and is it influencing games? Is it influencing gambling? Like, how is it working now?
Well, let's start with, if you have no idea of anything of sports betting, the idea of VIG. Now that is where you bet and the privilege to make that bet, and that's where the casino makes a ton of their money. So let's say you bet $110 to win $100, that extra $10 goes to the casino. The technology is creating a lot of different elements in that, both positive for us, negatively for us, and also where it's better and harder to win for sports betting. One, there's so much technology to use that you can just take it and see where all the data is, see what season averages, see what teams do against other players, all of that world, so you can know whether you want to bet over, under, anything in that world, the game itself. And then same game parlays. Now, when they came out a few years ago, they changed the industry. It used to be almost impossible to bet on a game that was the same game. So if you wanted to bet over a team total and a team spread, you couldn't do it. They wouldn't let you. It was too correlated, they didn't like it. If you wanted to play a prop, now with same game parlays, you actually can. And those are both great and terrifying. That's something you need to know with this. Gambling, it's very fun. You can win money, you can lose money, and it's in both of those ways here. And you can use the technology through all the apps, being that where in a same game parlay, you can just, as easy as pulling up on your phone, pulling any different version that you want through any of the different casinos, and you can go, I want this player over, this player under, I want this spread. And the reason for where that VIG comes in is they can hide that VIG in that same game parlay. So the technology can operate going, okay, what is this likely to do? How likely is this scenario to happen with this scenario? And that's where other technology, where you can go through on the computer and researching all of your data being there of what you can, what would say, hey, if this happens, they expect this to happen. For example, if a quarterback throws for a bunch of yards, you would expect that receiver to have a bunch of yards. But if a quarterback doesn't like throwing to another receiver, Rodgers to any rookie, you could go Rodgers over, then that receiver, that rookie receiver that you targeted, have him under. The odds in that technology went, oh, these things don't make sense. We're gonna boost that payout, making a higher payout in that world, so you can have that there. Then the thing of the future that's gonna be within there, and you can already kind of do it with your phones, live betting. You can always live bet through there. There's different props, there's different options. But what it's gonna be is you're gonna have your remote, and whatever provider you go through online, Roku, your normal satellite, your cable, etc., you can just have your remote and go, next play, pass. Next play, run.
So I can bet on any play at any time through either an app or potentially one day just a remote on my TV.
Not quite one day, or not quite right now. Getting close to it for big games, yes. And this is where I want the industry to go, and what I really hope becomes legal in a lot of states. It's legal in a couple states, New Jersey mainly, is a thing called betting exchanges. Now, how we talked about that VIG in the beginning?
Sure.
We don't want to pay $110 to win 100. Betting exchanges, say you and I don't know each other, or a viewer doesn't know me, but we are on the opposite sides of a bet. You like one side, I like the other. A betting exchange cuts way down on the VIG, just takes that little engineering cost between because they're the platform, and you and I can almost bet straight up, or somewhere else, obviously state to state and all that, keep it legal, but that would be where the industry is going in that world. So it cuts down on the VIG, and then the network who's hosting it, that technology is having it where it's them holding it, but you're putting two parties that don't know each other together, decreasing that VIG, making it where it's even more beneficial for the consumer, for the better.
Okay, so if you're watching all the big games this year, there's plenty of technology to help you bet on every play, maybe what color socks the quarterback's wearing, who knows. But please gamble responsibly. If you have questions about gambling, you can email my friend Brian here. I think he even has a weekly gambling segment. If you have questions about today's episode, or you need to see us feature your idea, please shoot me an email. But above all, please watch the games and enjoy them responsibly. I'm Patrick Moats. Thank you for watching Tech-byte.
Tech-byte, sponsored by Epico's Comics, Cards, and Games.